This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
Or worryingly relaxed, beta blockers, for the same reason, knowing they too may be relieved of their duties before long, or may just walk. If you're a guest artist on a series, then, however welcoming the principals might be, you are by definition an outsider. As everyone else mingles and brays and says, "See you in a bit," like they're at a glittering cocktail party that's never going to end, you hang around the edges of the room, gradually deconstructing your styrofoam cup until it resembles a piece of failed origami with a brown drip. Alternatively, you sit in your allocated spot at the trestle table, which has a place card on it with your real name misspelled, and beneath it in brackets your character, An Outsider, Episode 2. You want the floor to open up and put you out of your misery, preferably plunging the cliquey overpaid stars to their deaths as well, along with their hilarious in-joke wrap gift mugs from last season, with the special herbal drink in it that some runner had to get them from the production office because that's what they're meant to do, and Christ how they hate it, but as Dad said, everyone has to start somewhere, Tiger. I guess whoever had the task of telling Maggie Smith about the bright, shiny marketing idea of filming up our nostrils throughout this emotionally complex rendezvous had been met with a brief and final, "Oh, I don't think so," because there were, thank God, no 360-degree cameras in evidence as we assembled for the day. The reunion. Our hugs and smiles went unrecorded. It was 3 years since we'd last been together in the same room, but I can tell you that the bond of those 6 seasons working with largely the same group of people was tangible, in a good way. As we started to read, I looked round the huge square of tables, catching Leslie's eye, now Brendan's, Mrs. Patmore, Mr. Bates. A shared smile and a shake of the head, almost of disbelief. Who would have thought it? And then Liz Trubridge, one of our executive producers, the one closest to the cast and its welfare from day one, who had been going to leave after the 2nd season to pursue other projects, but had said to me one day, "I can't leave. This show's in my blood now." I suppose that's how we all felt as the series continued to roll out around the world. We were standing in a garden in Dorset, watching a camera track being laid for the next shot, when Julian Fellowes first told me about Downton Abbey. He was directing me in a film called From Time to Time. Maggie Smith is brilliant in it. Well, what else would you expect? Seemingly half the future cast of Downton Abbey were in it too. "You writing anything else at the moment?" I asked. Julian's statuesque wife, Emma, was nearby, chaperoning her elderly mother, who was sitting in a chair next to the sound recordist, a rug over her knees. "Now, Mummy, when that man over there with the walkie-talkie says, 'Action,' you zoop," said Emma firmly, zipping her mouth with one hand and adjusting Mummy's blanket with the other. "Well, yes," Julian answered me. "A number of things on the go, as a matter of fact." In a blazer and tie, he was without doubt the most smartly dressed director I had ever worked with. "There's a 4-parter about the Titanic. I've got 2 book adaptations in the works. Oh, and one idea that's set in a country house before the Great War. Gosford Park territory, but earlier." He paused before adding, "You probably think you're too young to play a dad." "Well, I am a dad." "Of 3 girls, marriageable age?" "Well, once it's ready, let's see." 10 months later, I read the first episode. I couldn't put it down. The way the characters, as yet uncast, popped off the page was rare. I could see them in my mind's eye, and I could hear them too. All too often you can blank out the name of a character in a script and not be able to tell who is speaking. The setting was grand yet homely, the pacing snappy, like that of a soap opera. It was no surprise to learn that Julian was a fan of Coronation Street. The characters intriguing, endearing, and convincing. And as I turned the final page, I wanted to know what happens next. At the time, period dramas were out of fashion with British broadcasters, and none of the US channels were interested either. Only PBS Masterpiece put its hand up. Nevertheless, Carnival, the production company commissioned to make the show for ITV in the UK, wanted a 3-year option on its cast. "But as we all know," said Gareth Neen, the executive producer and managing director of Carnival, "it probably won't run beyond the first 7 episodes. "Well, Donna, I quite like it," is what I actually said to my agent. She shrugged. "Okay, it's up to you." Some people change their agents like they change their underwear. I've worn mine for more than 30 years. In fact, I've been with my UK agency longer than my agent has. Donna started as an office junior at Marina Martin Management. After 10 years...